Well, thank you very much, Madam Chairman. I'm so pleased to introduce Shaun Sims. He's a fifth-generation rancher from Evanston, Wyoming. He serves as president of the Wyoming Association of Conservation Districts and is an active member of the Wyoming Stock Growers Association. He has served for more than a decade as his local conservation district and was elected to the National Association of Conservation Districts Executive Board. Just last year, Shaun and his wife Lacey were inducted into the Wyoming Agriculture Hall of Fame for their wonderful contributions to both agriculture as well as their communities in Wyoming. Shaun wears many hats. He offers a unique perspective to the memorandum that we are here to discuss today. So welcome to Shaun and to the witnesses, and thank you very much, Madam Chairman, for convening this hearing. Thank you very much, Madam Chairman. Mr. Sims, you mentioned project approval through coercion. We've heard Ms. Scarra talk about permit extortion. You're pretty mild compared to the things I heard at the Stock Growers Picnic and Hall of Fame banquet this year where you were inducted. I mean, we were hearing about, not just government coercion, but, government action to compel and in some ways government action to corrupt, because sometimes just trying to comply makes it almost illegal in terms of sort of the things that you have to do. So I just had a couple of questions with regard to what we're seeing here today. I'm very pleased that you're here to talk to the committee. In your testimony, you highlighted the importance of both multiple use management and conservation in your daily life. You have lived that. Your family has lived it in Wyoming. So if the federal agencies fundamentally change their management mission from multiple use to something that prioritizes avoidance over everything else, how's that going to affect your work in the conservation districts?
Is that on? When you develop resources, there is a level of disruption or what you would need to mitigate for. That is what conservation districts do best. We try to mitigate for those things, make the environment better, but we realize we need to use those resources. That is part of the conservation. We're going to conserve those resources. We're going to conserve the environment that we're using those resources. The issue I see is we have an avoidance, we have a minimization, and we have a compensatory hierarchy with this. With the whole mitigation thing. I see a jump, a push to go to the compensatory mitigation, which does not necessarily benefit that project or that area that is being impacted when we're talking about a landscape that could be across the nation or in a sagebrush steppe. So the avoidance portion of that, I don't think allows us to develop those resources and do our jobs.
Because I thought you raised some significant issues about future planning that's going to be required by this memorandum's mitigation policy. So in your view, do the agencies have the ability to address all these possible future environmental change on the landscape?
I do not. I think when they talk about baseline and no net loss and a net gain, at this point, there are efforts in the state of Wyoming. I know that will define these and show that level of habitats we have or those things, but they are far from completed. There's been a lot of work done on that.
I mean, you also expressed concerns with the concept of durability and the undue burden that this is going to place on projects. The memorandum defines durability loosely, saying that the environmental benefits of mitigation must last, it says, at least as long as the harmful impacts of the project. This means that at some point, some agency official can determine how long the harmful effects of the project will last. That's going to be their speculation. It seems possible that ongoing projects could be re-examined under these new terms. So I'm wondering if you've heard of any projects that are completed in phases that may be delayed under these new policies.
Personally, I have not. I know that some of the oil and gas, as they were developed and they were continued to go. There was one instance where a road was moved from a sage-grouse lek as part of the mitigation for a new portion of that project. It's ironic, they moved the road from the sage-grouse lek, moved it over to another area, and the sage-grouse moved over to where the new road was. It was due to the dust and the water, but they did try to mitigate for that. But that was a requirement to continue another portion of the project.
That's amazing. Thank you, Madam Chairman.